Okay, kiddies, tales best told in candlelight. I think every neighborhood has one of those families that's just cloaked in mystery. People want to know, like, what's their story? Why do they only come out at night? Why do they act weird? We had one of those in our neighborhood. It was a couple in their early 60s, like retired age. They lived in a home on the edge of the elementary school playground. It seemed like kind of a weird place for them to pick because they never had children or grandchildren visit. And the man really hated kids. He would chase them off his lawn all the time. Now the wife was sweet. She would be hanging the laundry in the backyard and she would wave to the kids and say, "Hi, how was your day?" And the husband would just shoo them away. But one time, probably about mid-October, the wife went missing. Like she wasn't there anymore. She wasn't hanging up the laundry and she wasn't saying hi to the kids. We just didn't see her at all. And the husband was letting the yard go. The grass got tall, the lawnmower was getting rusted. He wasn't out there yelling at kids anymore. He was just sort of in hiding. Only time his car ever left the driveway was at night. We started to suspect maybe he had killed his wife. I mean, poor, she was just too friendly and he was just too angry. So we watched his behavior. It got stranger and stranger. You know the movie The Burbs? It was sort of like the Klopeks. There was just too much weird stuff going on. They never made sense. They never talked to the neighbors. Nobody knew who they were or where they came from. So one Halloween, a bunch of us egged his front porch. Well, he gave chase, but we we went into the woods and lost him. But after that, we really kept our eye on him. It became like a Charlie's Angels adventure. We were constantly monitoring his behavior and actually keeping notes on it. And one time in early November, there was like a fog, and it was in the morning, and the fog was starting to burn off a little bit. And the man came out of his house, and he went to get a shovel out of the shed. And he leaned it up against the house, and then he went into the house, and he came out with one of those big black leaf trash bags. And he's like practically dragging this thing. It's obviously really heavy. So we're freaking out. He's got this big, heavy trash bag that he got from inside the house, and he's got a shovel, and now he's heading toward the elementary school. This is just too creepy. The elementary school was surrounded by woods, so we're thinking, what a great place to bury your wife, right? So we start following him, just staying behind enough that he doesn't see us. He goes around the school, so we think, well, we need a good, viewpoint because he's obviously going into the woods. So we climb up on the roof of the school. It's a one-story school. We've done it a million times. You just climb up the windows. There's like this frames you can step on. We go across the roof, and we hang on to the lip, and we peek over the edge, and we see him go into the woods. He doesn't go in that far because he's got a bright windbreaker on, and you can see the colors through the trees. So he's maybe 10 or 15 feet in, and we hear the crunch when the shovel hits the ground. And we're listening to him just dig and dig and dig. And, 15, 20 minutes go by, and the man exits the woods, goes around the school, goes back to his house with his shovel, with no trash bag. Well, being the tomboy that I am, I'm the one that decides I'm going to dig it up. So we rush into the woods, and we have no trouble finding the spot because it's totally mushy, totally smoothed over. He patted it down with a shovel. I started digging at it with my hands, and the ground just mushed, it just fell apart. And I got my fingers around the crunchy sound of the bag, and I pulled it out, and it was really heavy. And my friends just start to freak out. They're like crying, and should we get the cops? And, I decide I'm going to do like I normally do because I'm a bit bold. I'm not going to think about it or put my mind in that place. I'm just going to do it. So I just open the bag, and I look inside, and it's all dark. I can't see anything. So now I know I'm going to have to dig my hands into this bag. The woods are dark, the bag is dark. And I put my hands down in there, and it's wet, and it's slippery, and it's warm, and it feels really gross. And I'm kind of freaking out now, too. So I just yank the bag wide open, and we look at it, and out tumbles a bunch of oil cans and oil. He had changed the oil on his car and did not want to pollute his own yard. So that's the story of the really creepy weird man in our neighborhood. Oh, and his wife, if you ever wondered what happened to her, she came back a few months later. She was in rehab for a stroke. So that's my weird, creepy story for this time.